All right, guys, I want to personally introduce this guy. He is a local agent, lives in Hercules. I see him at the football games. I see him at the schools. His son and my son go to school together. I see him obviously here at the office. I see him basically all around. But he's so quiet. You would never think that he's like killing it because he just doesn't say much, doesn't post much, which you should be posting more. And I got to tell you, he connects with, I think, all the agents. I mean, he connects with all the buyers. Last year, he closed 18. Okay, 18 deals. I would say, so kudos. 18 deals, can you just imagine? And he has a full-time job. So, can you guys see that? And not to put his business out there, but he has a wife and 2 kids, teenage kids, which they demand a lot from us. Do they not?
They do.
We're at the games, we're over there. But I have to tell you guys, this is just another example of what the team actually brings. And he's going to tell us exactly how he actually does it. He gets, were they all Zillows?
No, not all Zillows.
Okay, I was going to say majority Zillows. So a lot of people say, wow, I can't convert these, or I don't have that personal touch. But he's going to tell us exactly how he converts the Zillows, how he gets the referrals, and how he actually converts them. So help me with a big, huge round of applause. Daniel.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys all being here today. I know you guys are all busy. We're all busy, and for you guys to be here today means a lot to me. Appreciate it. Hope you get some value out of this talk today. So I want to talk about meeting with buyers. Meeting with buyers, and this is basically everything that I've learned over the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, working with buyers. And the key thing I just want to say first is that working with buyers, the key to success for me is just building trust and connection with those people as soon as you possibly can. So that's been kind of the key to my success, is just building that trust and connection. And you don't build trust from like some fancy script. It comes from just, connecting with the people, doing the work, following up, and making sure you're putting their interests first, right? Making sure they know that. So that's the first thing I wanted to just say. But let me go through, let me give you guys kind of an overview of what we're going to talk about today. So first of all, these are kind of the topics that I want to discuss today. Going into meeting with buyers, most importantly for me, having the right mindset. I think that is overall the most important thing, if you guys could take away today. Having the right mindset is key for working with buyers. Then we're going to talk about kind of like the process of actually going through and meeting, how I handle these online leads mostly. I'm talking about mostly like Zillow, Ojo, those types of leads. So we're going to talk about the initial connection you make with that person. Then we're going to talk about planning your property tour. That's like getting ready for your actual meeting in person. Then the actual meeting when you're touring the properties together. From there, we'll talk about the buyer consultation and then the follow-up. So how to keep in contact and really build that connection strong and quickly. So what I'll say is, for me, there's no secret hack here. There's no shortcut to working with buyers. This is truly, but it's not rocket science either. You just have to master like basic principles, right? Basic principles. And I was going through the presentation, I was thinking, what are like the key principles here that I'm trying to convey? And I came out with 7 key words that I'm just going to read them off for you guys so you get an idea of the types of stuff I'm talking about. So the key words are service, confidence, optimism, preparation, conciseness, resourcefulness, and transparency. All right? So, yeah, sorry. Service, confidence, optimism, preparation, conciseness, resourcefulness, and transparency. So buyers are people, right? Just like me and you, they're trying to make the biggest decision of their life, at least financially, right? We always have to remember that first and foremost, right? So that's why I say this is just as much an internal game as it is an external game, right? So that's going to lead us into talking about the right mindset. Oops. Here we go. Okay, so I want to start us off with something a little bit different here. And this is something that really helps me when I'm working with buyers. And that's to, before every interaction that I have with somebody, taking a pause, refocusing on that person that I'm going to be working with, thinking about who they are, what they are, and remembering my best intention for working with that person, right? We all have a million things happening. Like when we're working with a buyer, there's a million different things coming at us. Our phone's buzzing, other buyers are talking, whatever the case is. But the key to really building that trust is being 100% present with that person that you're working with right then and there. So if you guys are down for this, I want to just take maybe 10 seconds, okay? Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Okay? I want you to think about the last time you were helping a buyer. Maybe you're on a showing. Think about the change that buying that property would mean for that person. Think about your role in bringing that change about. And think about your best intention for working with that person. Cool. Open your eyes. All right. So you probably didn't think you were getting a little meditation session this morning, but hopefully that was helpful. That is going to lead us into the first topic I want to talk about with mindset: service over sales. It's super easy for all of us to start thinking about that commission check, to putting that our needs before the buyer's needs, right? Very, very easy to slide into that. What can I get from this person, right? I always try to think about what can I give this person going into it. So service over sales. The clients can sense desperation. They know and they feel that energy that you bring. So always put their needs first. That's how you build the trust with them. Number 2, confidence. Confidence is key. Buying real estate is a scary, scary thing. And buyers need somebody that they can lean on, that they can feel confident, that knows that they're going to take care of things for them, right? So you have to be confident and never let doubt creep in their mind that you're the right person for them, right? They chose you for a reason, right? So believe in yourself. And if you're operating from that service mindset, you're going to know and feel confident that you're going to be doing the best for that person, right? So be real with yourself. Be real with yourself, because that's where true confidence comes from, is being real with yourself, okay? Even as a new agent, even if you're a brand new agent, and I was just a year and a half ago, you know more than most of these buyers that you're going to be working with, right? You have a great team. You've earned the right to be on this amazing team, right? Feel confident in your ability to help those people. All right, the next topic, staying optimistic, all right? Real estate transactions can go sideways real quick, right? Things can go up and down. There's always twists and turns. You need to stay positive for that person, right? You need to turn every negative situation into a positive, right? I'm sorry, unfortunately, the seller decided to accept another offer. But you know what? That just means this wasn't the right property for you. That means there's another one that's even better for you coming up around the corner. Whatever it is that you can do to turn a negative into a positive, do that for that person. Sometimes buyers can have kind of crazier ideas, right? They might, like you don't want to shoot down their ideas immediately either, right? They might come to you and be like, oh, I want to write an offer on this property, but I want to offer $50,000 less than they're asking. You know in your mind that that's not going to happen, right? But if you shut them down right there, they're going to be like turned off to you, right? So you want to guide them along, give them the information, let them feel like they're in control, but let them come to their own conclusions, right? So don't just shut them down immediately. That's part of staying positive. Okay. So next, I want to talk about, any questions on this before I go on? Comments? Okay. Let's go into the actual process that I follow with these online leads. The first thing, right? It's all about first impressions with these people. They're coming through from a text message or from a phone call, maybe a text message from Ojo or a phone call from Zillow, right? The first thing we want to do, we want to respond as quickly as possible, right? We want to show them how responsive we are. That's the first impression you're going to make. So within like 1 to 2 minutes of getting that text message, I'm going to respond back, hey Maria, this is Daniel from eXp Realty. I just received your inquiry about 123 Bayfront. Do you have a moment to discuss? You want to get them on the phone. Get them on the phone so you can start talking to them and building that connection, right? That's the first thing. Get them on the phone, right? Or if they're coming through from Zillow, they're already coming through on a phone line, right? What I want to do then is I want to have the information for that property that they're inquiring about right there in front of me, ready to go. So like that phone comes from Zillow. I see it's about 123 Bayfront. I'm pulling up my MLS the second that phone rings. I'm looking up that property. If I'm out on the go, I have my mobile MLS on my phone. But I want to have that information ready to go as soon as they're calling, because this leads me to the next point. You got to be the expert. You have to be the expert. You have to establish yourself as the expert right away. How do you do that? You start providing them with information about the property that they don't already have. Buyers have a lot of information, right? They can go on Zillow, they can go look at a lot of different places to get information about a property. Well, we have information they don't have, right? So as soon as that call comes through, I'm pulling up the MLS. I'm looking at the confidential remarks. Whatever I can find that I can give to that buyer to let them know that I know more than they do and I can be the expert for them, right? I want to start doing that. If there's a little gap in between like the call that I'm going to make, I'm going to start looking through I'm going to pull the disclosures down. I'm going to look through all that stuff. I'm going to maybe run a CMA so I can see comps in the neighborhood. Or better yet, I'm going to call the listing agent. I'm going to talk to that listing agent and get any little bit of information that I can get about that property that I can share with the buyer, right? So I can establish myself as the expert, because that's the key to starting to build that trust. The next thing you want to do when you're talking with them, you have to build a personal connection, right? These are human beings. You want to connect on a person-to-person level, right? So get them to, first of all, match their energy first, right? So if they're super quiet and super reserved, don't come at them like all salesy and talkative. Match their energy, get them to feel comfortable talking to you first, disarm them, listen to what they're saying, find something to connect with them about. Oh, you want a house with a bedroom downstairs? I totally get that. I live with my in-laws too, and they have a bedroom downstairs, right? That's super helpful. Oh, you have kids? I have kids too. Whatever. Oh, you need a room for your music? Dude, I love music. What kind of instruments do you play? Whatever it is, find something to connect with them about on a personal level so they remember you and they know you as a real person. Okay. After the call, we want to follow up right after we get off the phone with these people and send them a recap of what we talked about. Send them a very, very detailed but concise message. Use as little words as you possibly can, but give them all the information that hey, this is what we talked about. I'm going in with the mindset that I'm going to provide this person so much value. I'm going to start working for them, even if they don't know it, they're going to be working with me because it's just a no-brainer. Like, I'm not going to give them the opportunity to even think about working with anybody else because I'm just giving them so much value right off the bat, right? If I tell them I'm going to give them this, I'm going to schedule the showing, I'm going to get them the disclosures, whatever it is, I'm going to get it to them, and I'm going to get it to them that day, right? As soon as possible. All right, moving on. Okay, now we're off the phone with them. Now we can actually think about what our meeting in person is going to look like, right? We want to get as prepared as we possibly can so that we can really show off in that meeting when we meet them in person. So the first thing, get prepared. I already talked about this, but like I'm going to gather as much information about every single property that I'm going to show them. I'm going to gather the disclosures. I'm going to read the inspection reports. I'm going to talk to the listing agent. I'm going to read the confidential marks. I'm going to run a CMA. I'm going to learn everything I can about the properties I'm going to show them. And I'm also going to put it into a nice little, I like to put it on my phone or a spreadsheet, clipboard, whatever. I'm going to put it on a nice little sheet that it's easy for me to reference when I'm walking through the houses with them. Then I can pepper in that information for them as I'm walking through the homes with them. Next thing, I also want to try and extend my meeting with them, right? So I want to try, in some cases it doesn't make sense, but ideally I want to show them at least 2, maybe 3 properties. I don't want to just stick with just the one. If they're really, you can tell they're focused on that one property, then you don't want to like bombard them with extra stuff to confuse them. But as much as I can, I want to extend my meeting with that person. Why do I do that? Number one, you want to show these people that you have access to every single house that's out there, right? Some of these people that come through Zillow, they don't realize, are you the listing agent? Are you just trying to sell me this house? No, I want to show them that I can show them any house that they want. Whether they're looking in Hercules, Concord, wherever, I have access to everything, okay? So that's number one why I want to extend the meeting. Number two, it just gives you that bigger chance to connect with them, right? The difference between just showing up, having them see one house and saying bye, versus like taking them from one house to the next, talking about each in between, having them actually get in the car and follow you to the next house. That's like, like you're showing them that you're leading them, right? You're leading them from one house to the next. So it's almost in their mind, they're already starting to follow you, right? So that's why I want to extend into like 2, 3 houses. Next thing, strategize your route. When you're going to tour like multiple houses, strategize the route. You want to tour the homes in a logical order. That makes sense. Like that's going to differ for every person, right? Every person's got a different situation. But like maybe I want to have my buyer's consultation with that person that day. So maybe what I'll do is on the last house, I'll save the last house for the best house for the last. Maybe it's one that's staged where I see there's a nice seating area where we can actually go in there and chill out for like 15 minutes and talk about the buyer's consultation. You're probably going to want to lead off with the house they originally inquired about. So I'm just saying, have a logic to the way that you tour the properties, right? And then when you're strategizing your route, also think about like, you don't want to be crisscrossing back and forth over town, like wasting their time, wasting their gas, right? You want to be that's just a bad look. So you just want to be very like strategic about the way you plan your tour. And then just going back to communication, like every single time, over communicate. Always like, share an itinerary. Like I like to share like, hey, we're going to go see, maybe 2 days before we go on the tour, we're going to go see all these properties. These are the addresses. These are the times we're going to go see them. And then maybe like the day before, I'll follow up just to confirm, like just over communicate with those people so they know that they can trust you. All right. The property tour, meeting at the property. First point here on the property tour is you got to arrive early. You have to arrive early. Like, I get there at least 15, 20 minutes before my showing time. There's a lot of reasons for that. First, you got to minimize every single unknown that you could possibly think of, right? We've all been there where you show up to a house and the lockbox is missing, or it doesn't work, or the door is jammed, or whatever the case may be. There's all kinds of unknowns. You got to get there and minimize all those unknowns. I like to go in the houses before they get there, turn all the lights on, make it feel cozy, and walk through it myself first, right? So that I know where everything is. So when I'm actually walking through it with them, it's fresh in my mind. I can be the expert. I can show them that I know everything about this house. The laundry room's right over here. Oh, the half bathroom downstairs right over here, right? So get there early, get prepared. If you can, even drive by the other homes that you're going to see first, right? So maybe you're not going to go into all of them, but at least you can go see the parking situation. Like, especially with condos, you never know what the parking situation is going to be. You don't want to pull up to a house and not know where to go. You not know where to park, not know where the lockbox is. You know, it's a bad look, and it just reduces their trust in you, right? Their trust and their confidence. So get there early, get prepared. Also, I always try to meet the buyer out front, in front of the house, right? So I'll do my preview of the house, lock it back up, come out on the driveway, and wait for them to pull up, right? I don't want to be like hovering over them when they pull up. I'll let them kind of like get out, you know, maybe I'll be kind of like looking around the house, and then they'll walk up. I'll sit, I'll greet them. I'll try to make a little connection with them out front, right? How was your drive over? Did you face any traffic? What do you think about the neighborhood? Whatever you can to start building that connection right when they show up before you go. And then I say, okay, let's go take a look. Walk them to the door, unlock it, let them in first, right? So now we're inside the house, and I want to guide them through the house. I want to sprinkle in all that information that I brought with me about the house. Maybe like I know, okay, this one needs a new roof. This one, has some repairs noted on the pest inspection, whatever the case. I want to know that and share that. I'll share them like, okay, this house was built in this year, this, it's a whatever. But then more than what I say, I want to listen more than I talk. I want to listen to them, because everything that they say is super valuable for me to be able to find actually the right house for them, right? So I'm going to listen for them, and if they're not talking much, I'm going to prompt them. I'm going to ask them open-ended questions. Prompt them like, hey, what do you think of this layout? What do you think of the flooring? Whatever it is, like, get them to talk. Get them to open up to you. Another part about building trust when you're touring houses, don't just point out all the great things about the house. Don't just, sell them on that house. Point out things that actually might need work. Point out things that aren't great about the house. That helps to build the trust, right, with those people. They know, oh, he's not just trying to sell me on this house. He actually is looking out for my best interest, right? Before I leave each property, I want to gather everybody together that's touring, and I'm going to ask them to rate the house. That gives me feedback like in real time, like, okay, what do you guys like? What would you guys rate this house? And I like to use a 1 to 7 scale, right? Because it forces them to pick a side. You can't be neutral. What would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 7? Usually I say like anything above 5, that's offer territory, right? And then the last thing, when you're doing your tour, before you leave them, make sure you set your next appointment with them. Try not to ever let somebody leave without getting something scheduled for your next meeting. This is where this might be the first time where I actually bring up like, are you guys working with the lender? Are you pre-approved yet? Right? This might be that first time. So that's where I might say, why don't we have a buyer's consultation? Let's schedule that. I'll bring my lender with me, and we can talk about, you're pre-approved. Oh, you're already pre-approved? I'm still going to bring my lender with me. Maybe just get you a second opinion so you can hear somebody's other thoughts, right? But don't leave them without at least getting another meeting on the calendar. All right. buyer consultation. I'm not going to go into too much here because I think we all trained a lot on this. But with the buyer's consultation, your goal is just to learn more about this person's, like, what are their long-term goals? What are their must-haves? What are their deal breakers? So just learning about them. You want to obviously explain the process from beginning to end of buying a property. You want to set their expectations. So what is it like working with me? What is it like working with you? What days are good for you? When can we actually make this happen? What are the logistics of what our relationship will look like? Set those expectations. And then, let's see, sorry. Like I said, include a lender. I join every lender call with my clients because I want to know their numbers inside and out. I want to know what their situation looks like so I can really help them find the right house. So I don't like just pass them on to a lender. I actually want to be there on every call with the lender so I can really learn what their situation is. All right, last one. Follow up. First point on this is have a system. Have a system for follow-up. Whatever your system is, whatever works for you. I've recently started using a whiteboard, and I really like that. It's just, I just write all the names out on the board, and so I can see it every morning when I wake up. I know that I'm going to see it. In the past, I've used a spreadsheet. That works, or CRM, whatever it is, just have a system and stay organized. I organize my leads by 3 categories. I organize them into hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. The hot leads I'm following up with maybe every 2 to 3 days. The warm leads I'm following up with every maybe week. And the cold leads I'm following up with maybe once a month. When I'm following up with them, I'm bringing them value every single time. I'm never approaching them with, what can I get from you? It's always, what can I give to you, right? So I'm always thinking about what kind of value would I bring to this person. I like to try and call them first. I call twice, actually. If I don't get an answer, then I text. I text them and say, hey, I'm sending them new listings. I'm sending them stats about the market they're looking in. I'm sending them information about the house, more information about the houses they were interested in, any insights. Whatever value I can give them, I'm bringing them that value. Also, when I'm texting them, the way I text with them is so important. The communication style is so important. You want to make sure that you're coming through as that person again. So, I always start it with, hey, hope you're doing well. How was your vacation? How are your kids doing? You want it to not sound like a templated text, not something that was written by an AI. Something that's very, very personal that's going to try and get them to respond to you. But also be very understanding and super low pressure, right? You don't want to ever, make people feel rushed or pressured. And then I like to phrase things as questions, as opposed to like saying, let me know how your search is going. How is your search going? Ask it as a question that is going to compel them to actually give you a response, as opposed to just saying something. Ask them questions. If I'm going to get on the phone with somebody, and this goes back to being the expert, anticipate what questions they might have before you get on the call, right? Think about, what is this person going to ask me, and get prepared for that. So, you're not just calling them like without a purpose. Think about it. Figure out what you think they might ask you. It takes time, but it's part of the deal. Okay. And then I'm going to finish with this. Last thing is stay positive, focus on helping. Don't get discouraged, right? I might follow up with like 30 leads in one day and get 1 response, right? That's okay, right? That's part of the deal. You could have an amazing meeting with somebody. You could show them properties and think, oh my gosh, I got a deal here. These people are going to definitely write an offer. I know it. I feel it, right? I'm so excited. And then they disappear on you, right? Happens all the time to me. It really does. So don't take things personal. Just stay focused on doing the work. Remember, it's a numbers game. You just keep at it, and eventually something will work. And focus on what you can control. And then, if you could take anything from today, I just want you to remember how important all of your roles are in helping these people, right? You're making a change in their life. So you should feel like very inspired by, this is your role. And we don't have to do this. We get to do this, right? We don't have to go do AVIDs. We get to go do AVIDs, right? If you can think about it like that, it really helps reframe things. And yes, we're all here because we want to make a living, right? We want to make as much money as we possibly can. I get, that's for sure. But the best way that I found to do that is by putting the buyer's needs first. Okay? That's all I got.